Craig, tell me a little bit about the Glastonbury event. How long has it been going on for?
Well, maybe you made the comment earlier about the history of KCF and their involvement in the Rallysport and this particular series. So I'll drop back a couple of years. It goes back to the mid-90s when we used to compete in Shimda, and the precursor of running a pace-noted event was to give people the opportunity to learn their pace notes for the QRC and the ARCs that we used to run later. So it evolved from there. So we ran it all through the 90s and 2000s, and then it had a little renaissance again 4 years ago up at Glastonbury, where I put my hand up to run a two-stage event in the forest around Glastonbury, using the Glastonbury recreation area as our headquarters, and the event has emanated from there over the years. So this year, a little bit of a change to the event, and we've got a new stage. It's only 3 k's in length, but it'll test competitors on the day. And what we've done with our traditional Glastonbury stage is we've extended that by another 4 kilometres. So we're going to have 19.23 kilometres in the first stage, and then 3 kilometres in the second. So we're returning back to the recreation area each time. So that's a little bit of the history of the event and what's happening this year.
Fantastic. All right. So tell me a little bit about what goes into organising one of these events, because I can imagine that it's not just something you show up on the day and it just magically happens. There's a lot that goes into it, isn't there?
Well, there is, and traditionally with all rallying, they start probably about 6 to 8 months out from the event, where the Clerk of Course will look at the area that he's going to be working in and the roads that he's going to use, and then he'll start forming a road book from that. So for me, this will be my 7th trip up to Gympie or Glastonbury. So, round trip's about 500 k's. So it's a day's work up there looking around, and specifically you spend time on setting a road book, you spend time on looking after where your SOS people are going to be, where you're going to have your radio base and repeaters and control of the event. So it's all quite consuming. And then behind me I've got a team of people. I've got all my course cars, of course, which I hand pick and put together well before the event. And then, of course, we have to work through our stage commanders and our deputy stage commanders and the officials that come up and man those posts on the day. So for my event secretary, Lois Collins, who's done it for the last 4 years, and for Margaret McFarlane from the Car Club, it's quite extensive, the amount of work and time and effort that goes into putting an event on. It's all based around safety. It's all based on the fact that we want every competitor back at the end of the day, safe and sound. So that's what we've achieved in the last several years, and that's certainly what we'll achieve this year on what I consider to be very, very good roads.
Fantastic. So how does one go about finding officials? I mean, you will traditionally struggle, succeed? Is it a bit of a challenge?
Well, I'm rather fortunate in this event and the location that we're running, and sadly we can't have a spectator point because getting into the forest is impossible. So the need for roadblocks is not as severe as it is for, say, running at Imbil and some of these stages up there, or even up at Banarkin where you need a number of people. So for us, for this event, we've got 25 officials out in the field. That includes the start officials, but 25 officials, and then we've got our road crew, of course, that goes with that. So we advertise well, and we've got just a wonderful group of people that are out there that enjoy coming up for the day and helping us. And without them, these events just don't happen. We need those officials, and we thank them, and I certainly thank them at the end of the day for making the time to come out.
That's fantastic. Tell me a little about the course cars. So my understanding, a lot of my background is around Rally Australia. That's where I'm sort of got interested and involved in sort of sport. And they run a 0, 00 and 000. Now, what do you guys do up here?
We do that, but we don't have a 999 cars, and we don't have the police, etc. running through the stages as you're used to. So we're a little bit fortunate. We've got a 000, 00 and a 0 car, fast sweep, slow sweep, and then of course recovery, who perform an important role on the job. So my team is quite small. They're all dedicated. They've all done it for me previously. and they're all out there to ensure that the competitors, most importantly, as I said earlier, all get back in one piece.
Fantastic. Is there any sort of, obviously we've got the new stage coming up, is there anything you're looking at this year that hasn't happened yet, or is it going to be much of a muchness?
No, well, John Keane, who was here for scrutineering this morning, told me they had 50 millimetres of rain up there yesterday, so I like that, so that'll keep the dust settled on the day. That's the most important issue, that people drive to the conditions. These are pace-noted events, or they can use the road book if they so desire, but the idea is to educate people in the use of pace notes.
Fantastic, all right. And I understand that Keith obviously being the title sponsor of the event, how much does he actually have in behind the scenes sort of getting the amount of events happening and that sort of thing? What's the involvement there?
Well, Keith's involvement this year is that he's overseas on a holiday and he's getting home the day of the event. So disappointingly for Keith more than anything, but he won't be able to make it for this event. But as the sponsor, and being the sponsor since '96, behind the scenes, of course, he's fast sweep, and he is very fast in sweep. I've never been game to chase down his times, but he'd be pretty competitive as fast sweep, and he looks after a number of the forestry people who will put in a car with him, or others that go along for a ride with him. So behind the scenes, he does that, and of course we're here today for scrutineering at his facility. So those are important issues, that we have those sort of things being addressed by our sponsors, that they become part of the event and enjoy it and be part of it on the day.
Fantastic. And just with scrutineering today, now we only had about half, maybe a little under half of the field today.
Yeah, we did. We're short a couple, but quite a number, of course, go in for regional scrutineering. It's quite a task. You've got to come to here, bring your car up. So that's the best part of the day for scrutineering. So my new chief scrutineer this year, Victor, has made arrangements for competitors to be checked out on the Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, and Ipswich and things like that. So regional scrutineering is becoming part of our events as well. But today we got through it well. Everybody was happy. Everybody's gone away, and we're all done and dusted at 12 o'clock.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
Cheers.